Let us understand the methodology called design space methodology for design and optimization of solar thermal systems. Uh, as we already know, solar radiation on tilted surfaces can be evaluated using this expression IT. IT is the hourly radiation falling on tilted surface, and this IT comprises of beam radiation, diffuse radiation, and reflected radiation. So the expression for evaluation of IT is this: IBRB. IB is the beam or direct radiation falling on a horizontal surface. RB is the tilt factor for beam radiation. ID is the diffuse radiation intensity, watt per meter square. RD is the tilt factor for diffuse radiation. This RB is cos theta, it is the ratio of cos theta by cos theta z, while this RD is evaluated using the expression 1 plus cos beta by 2. Beta is the tilt of the collector. IB plus ID is the global radiation, IG, and RR is the tilt factor for reflected radiation. So the expression for RR is 1 minus cos beta by 2 into rho g, that is rho g is the ground reflection factor, that is 0.2. These parameters have already been discussed in my previous presentations in detail. Those who are interested to understand this in a good manner, they are requested to refer my earlier presentations. Okay, so the Hotel-Villiers-Brice equation, which forms the basis of sizing of a solar thermal system, is given below. So this is again I am explaining. QU, useful heat gain rate in watt. AC, collector area. IT is this expression, IT, solar radiation intensity on tilted surface. FR tau alpha is the collector efficiency factor. So this forms the characteristic of the collector which is being used. FRUL is the collector loss coefficient. So this is again a characteristic or indicating the rate of loss from the selected collector. TI is the temperature of the fluid entering the collector. TA is the ambient temperature. The general configuration which we have already discussed in the previous presentation, I need not explain this again, but let us concentrate on the energy balance across the storage tank in this configuration. Now if we consider this as a storage tank, as a free body diagram, as a free body, then what is entering into the storage tank? Solar energy in the form of QS is entering into the storage tank. Another thing which is entering the storage tank is the energy along with the makeup water. When makeup water is supplied to the storage tank, some energy is entering along with this. So QR is entering into the storage tank. So these two energies are entering into the storage tank, while these two are the energies which are leaving or losing, exiting the storage tank. One is QLS, that is a load, so demand which is met. So the energy which is going out of the storage tank to meet the demand, that is QLS, and energy lost across the boundary of the storage tank is the Q storage losses. So this indicates the storage losses. So if we write the energy balance across the storage tank, these energies must be balanced. So if we write an energy balance across the storage tank, we can write the energy must be conserved. So change in the internal energy of the storage tank over a specified period will be equal to the energy interactions which are taking place across the boundary of the storage tank. Of course, in the same period of time, if that period of time may be say 1 minute, 1 hour, or 1 day. So this is a time period, or maybe 1 second. So whichever is the time period, so energy interactions must be balanced. Now what is the change in the internal energy? How do we express change in the internal energy of the storage tank? It is mass of the storage tank Cp of the fluid which the storage tank accommodates, and delta Tst is the change in the temperature of the storage tank fluid. So this is the change in the internal energy of the storage tank, mCp delta T. This must be balanced by Q solar, energy entering with the help of the fluid, hot fluid, into the storage tank, energy met to the demand, energy coming in through the makeup water, and energy loss. So this is nothing but the same energy balance, Qs minus QLS minus QSTL plus QR. So this is written here. Now here, mass of the storage tank, mass of the fluid in the storage tank is the density of the fluid in the storage tank and volume of the storage tank. Why it is written in this form is often the storage tank is specified in the form of liters of capacity. We don't specify the storage tank of mass capacity like 100 kg storage tank, 12 kg storage tank, or 200 kg storage tank. In place of that, the usual way to express the capacity of the storage tank is in liters, say 500 liters, 200 liters, 100 liters, 3000 liters, like this. That's why it is expressed. The mass of the fluid in the storage tank is expressed in the terms of density into volume of the storage tank. Now, rate of change in the temperature of the storage tank is written in this fashion. It is with respect to time, dTst by dt. Tst is the storage temperature and dt is the time period which we are going to consider. Now the storage energy balance can be formulated in this fashion. Rho Cp is the density of the fluid in the storage tank. Cp is the specific heat of the fluid in the storage tank. Vst, volume of the storage tank, and Tst is temperature of the storage tank. So dVst Tst by dt. So it is the rate of change of these parameters, and then this becomes the change in the internal energy of the storage tank, and then it is balanced by the solar energy, Qs minus QLS load plus QR makeup and minus Q storage losses. Now if we expand these expressions in terms of storage tanks, now all these expressions are written in the form of storage tank temperature Tst. So rho Cp d Vst Tst by dt, same is reproduced here, which is equal to, now we have to write the expression for Qs, which is nothing but this Hotel-Villiers equation. Okay, AC IT FR tau alpha minus FR. So same is written here. AC IT FR tau alpha minus AC FR UL Tst minus Ta. Why Tst? Because this is the temperature of the fluid entering the collector. So if you see here, the temperature of the fluid which is entering the collector is nothing but Tst. So it is written here Tst minus Ta. So this is Q solar, energy added to the storage tank with the solar energy, by solar energy. Now this is the load made. Now if you see the schematic diagram here, makeup water is entering the storage tank, and the temperature of the water which is entering the storage tank is at the atmospheric temperature, and then the temperature of the water which is leaving the storage tank is at the Tst. So Tst minus Ta is the load made at certain mass flow rate. So the load made by the storage tank is written here as m dot L, mass flow rate of the pump which is pumping towards the load, into Cp Tst minus Ta. And then storage losses, this is the overall loss coefficient. The loss is happening, energy loss is happening across the storage tank surface. So this is the storage tank heat loss coefficient for the storage tank. This is watt per meter square Kelvin. AST is the surface area, outer surface area of the storage tank. So this watt per meter square Kelvin into meter square into again delta T. It comes out to be watt or joules. So Tst minus again Ta, across the storage temperature only the loss is taking place. So you can see here Tst is the variable. Okay, and here Tst and Tst are variables. So for finding out the solution of this, if we rewrite the equation here and then finding out the solution here, you will get the solution like this. So the solution gives storage temperature profile over the time horizon, that is compared with the load and limiting temperature constraint. We will discuss it in detail in the next thing. Okay. So some input parameters must be must be adopted here. For IT, we must select some location. Some collector must be selected. IT must is needed as an input. FR tau alpha is needed as an input. Some load demand is needed as an input. So the input parameters are selected. For an illustrative example, like this, global radiation IG. For Pune location, global radiation IG is selected. Diffuse radiation we need. Beam radiation IB, latitude and longitude of the location is needed. Ambient temperature is needed as an input design parameter. Collector tilt beta is needed as an input design parameter. And then daily demand, daily load requirement in quantity, liters per day, as well as quality. What is the temperature? That is the input parameter needed. Now collector character, we need to select the collector also. So if we select the collector, FR tau alpha and FRUL values will be obtained. Now if we select all these values, again if we write the storage energy balance with here, now the volume of the storage tank remaining constant, because we are providing storage tank with a fixed volume. Okay, and it is assumed that the storage tank is always filled with the water. So this VST quantity remains constant. In our previous equation, we have taken this to be as a variable, but in practice, this is constant. So we can take out this and then find out the solution. Okay, so if we take out the VST out as a constant, so rho Cp VST, so this becomes the heat capacity of the storage tank, then TST by dTST by dt. Okay, so this becomes equal to QS minus load minus storage losses. So again, if we write all these expressions here, if we see here in the expression for Hotel-Williams equation, it is written the superscript plus, you can see here. Why plus? The plus indicates that only positive values of this expression are considered. Why positive values? Because this is the solar radiation intensity. When sun is shining and solar radiation intensity exceeds the loss, when solar radiation intensity exceeds the loss, then only there will be positive energy gained by the system. There will not be a practically possible to gain the negative energy, means the energy will not be supplied from the storage tank to the solar collector. So that will be give us an absurd condition. So to avoid that absurd condition, we have inserted this condition into the equation that only positive values of this expression are considered. This is the load ml dot Cp TST minus TA, and then this is a storage loss as we have discussed earlier. Now what does this, if we find out the solution by separating the variables, if we separate the variables and integrate, you can get an analytical solution of this equation. So the solution of the above differential equation may be obtained analytically over time step t. Okay, assuming all this solar radiation intensity and all this. So when we say solution is obtained, means what? So the solution looks like this. Okay, so the solution left hand side of the equation gives you the ratio of final storage temperature by initial storage temperature, final condition by initial condition. You can see all the terms in the numerator of the left hand side of the solution indicating F. So TSTF means final storage temperature at the end of the selected time period. So it is ACFRUL TST final storage temperature minus ambient, final storage temperature minus makeup water, and then final storage temperature against initial storage temperature in the denominator. So TSTI minus TA, TSTI. So this is the ratio of initial final condition by initial condition, which indicates equal to exponential of this. After integration, you will get all these parameters. Now, what does this indicate? What is not known to us? If we start with some initial condition of say TSTI of 25 degrees Celsius or 35 degree initial storage temperature of 35 degrees Celsius at certain time at certain location, then we obtain the final storage temperature as a solution. So with this, if we go on finding out the solutions again and again over time steps, you will get a profile of storage temperature over a day. Okay, so I will demonstrate this with an example. So an example is taken domestic hot water demand. There is an apartment building in Pune which has a demand of hot water of 4500 liters per day at 60 degrees Celsius. So this demand is as per the ISO, in the International Standards Organization 945, as per the ISO load profile. Load profile means how this water is being used. Okay, so there is a load for in the morning people use water. In the morning certain quantity of water is used, and in the afternoon certain percentage of water is used, and in the evening also certain percentage of water is used. So this ISO load profile I will discuss in the next slides. So ISO load profile is used in this example. Location is Pune. Collectors are flat plate collectors. We have selected single cover with FR tau alpha 0.675 and FRUL 5.656. Storage tank is mild steel with height to diameter ratio equal to 1, and the storage tank is hot water storage tank, so it must be insulated. Insulation used is glass wool 0.14 meters thick. Insulation is used. Thermal conductivity of the insulation used is 0.04 watt per meter Kelvin. Okay, so now the problem is, for a apartment building in Pune which requires 4500 liters of water per day at 60 degrees Celsius, what must be the collector area, how many collectors are used, what will be the cost of the system, and then at what solar fraction the system will operate. These answers are sought using this design space methodology. So with these figures, if we solve, if we enter this expression in Excel and then find out the solution, what you will get, the solution you for a certain time period, if you get a solution, the solution indicates this. What is mean by solution? So the solution is nothing but the storage temperature profile over a day. Okay. Now I have mentioned here the load profile, ISO load profile. So this is a load profile. Basically this figure indicates on x-axis the time in hours, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8, 10, 12 till 24. So this is a 24-hour account of time, and then the parameters on y-axis are temperature. This is the temperature. So 0 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Celsius, and 100 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature of what? This is the storage temperature. Okay, and then on this characteristic, this ISO profile is superimposed. Okay, what does this indicate? This ISO storage profile indicates, this line indicates that between 6 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the morning, this much quantity of water is needed at 60 degrees Celsius. Then from 10 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock, this much the people use water here at 60 degrees Celsius. There is another consumption from 12 o'clock till 1 o'clock, and then in the afternoon the consumption will be from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till evening 6 o'clock, or 18 hours. So this indicates the consumption profile. Okay, and then at, say, what is the 60 degrees Celsius. So at 60 degrees Celsius. So this demand must be is at 60 degrees. This is the ISO load. Now, and this line indicates a maximum limiting temperature line, which indicates the vaporization of boiling of water, which is an undesired phenomena. So this is the extreme limit. This must be avoided. Now, if I say that when I find out the solution to this equation at a certain instant of time, say for this instant of time, if I find out the solution, this is the storage temperature in the morning, say 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. So like this, I go on finding out the temperature profile over a day. Okay, so this is the storage temperature profile over a day. Now the logic is that if the storage temperature, if the fluid in the storage tank has a temperature greater than 60 degrees Celsius always, then it will naturally meet the load. Okay, meet the entire load. Because if this storage temperature goes down, it is not acceptable condition. Now corresponding to a collector area and storage volume, this temperature profile must be between 60 degrees Celsius, this line to this line. Okay, so for this we search all the possible values of collector area and storage volume. Now how that is obtained, that we will see. Like this. In that Excel sheet here, if I enter this into the Excel sheet with all the parameters, the only unknown will be TSTF. Now AC and VST. Here there is some VST. Yeah, VST. These values I change in an Excel sheet. So these are the variables. AC and VST I will change, and then observe what is the storage temperature profile. So this is a typical thing. Now let us concentrate on the first storage temperature profile, A. Okay, so this is A. Now which is the A condition? A condition is this. Okay, now this characteristic shows collector area on x-axis and storage volume on y-axis. Okay, this is a logarithmic scale. Now A condition indicates 90 square meter of collector area. Okay, if I select the system of 90 meter square of collector area and corresponding volume, then I obtain this solution, which indicates the storage temperature profile over a day like this. So here the demand is 60 degrees Celsius, but the storage temperature, when the demand exists, the demand is above the storage temperature, which is not acceptable. So it is lying much below. Between 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, the storage temperature is much lower. So here the auxiliary is needed. Okay, so this is not acceptable. Again, in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, the storage temperature is shooting above 100 degrees Celsius. So some steam is forming here in the afternoon. So this design of 90 square meter collector area and corresponding storage volume is not acceptable to me, because this is going below, the curve is going below the demand, and sometimes the curve is shooting up the highest temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. Then I move up. Okay, then I move up to B point. Okay, I will go on searching, go up to what I am doing here, keeping the collector area same, I am increasing the storage volume here. Okay, so if I take this B point, now what is the storage temperature profile for B point? The storage temperature profile for B point is that when demand is there, storage temperature is higher than 60 degrees Celsius. Yeah, this is acceptable. So the entire curve is found to be above the demand. So this point is acceptable. So the B point is acceptable. So I might now mark this point as a red point. Okay, acceptable point. Now at the same collector area, with the same collector area, I go on increasing the storage tank volume. And then I increase the storage tank volume hypothetically to a very high value. So as I go on increasing the storage tank value, naturally the inertia of the storage tank, thermal inertia of the storage tank goes on increasing. So the response to the energy input goes on decreasing, and at certain point of time the storage temperature profile becomes flat and it just touches the demand temperature. Like storage temperature over the entire day is 60 degrees Celsius. This is also acceptable to me. So this C point is acceptable to me. I mark this as a red point. But when I increase the storage tank above C, what happens? The thermal inertia exceeds the demand. Thermal inertia increases, thermal inertia of the storage tank increases to such an extent that the storage temperature goes below 60 degrees Celsius, which is not acceptable to me. So this is indicated by D. So my B and C points are acceptable points, and in between B and C, corresponding to 90 meter square of collector area, my points, any storage tank value between B and C is acceptable to me. So what does this mean? At 90 meter square collector area, storage tank volumes from this to this are all possible feasible designs. So this and then I again reduce the collector area and then try this. So like this, if I go on decreasing the collector area, I will get a unique point, that is a minimum collector area, and minimum storage volume at which I will get the desired solar fraction. Now this curve is obtained at a desired solar fraction. Okay, I have to set this for a desired solar fraction. Now, before going for discussion of solar fraction, let us discuss about specification of the limiting condition. So, we have already seen the limiting line of 100 degrees Celsius on this diagram and this characteristic. So now what happens if I operate in collector area and storage volume case here in the same diagram, collector area storage volume diagram. If I separately go on checking the collector area and storage volume, I get in this region, this is the limiting line. Okay, this is the profile of the limiting line. Any collector area and storage volume in this region gives me the temperature less than 100 degrees Celsius. So any temperature, any collector area and storage volume combination. Okay, for example, say again 90 meters square of collector area and then this volume will give you that give me a temperature of less than 100 degrees Celsius, which is acceptable to me. However, if I go on decreasing the storage volume and then if I settle here, the temperature of the storage will be more than 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so which is not acceptable to me. So this is a non-operating region for me, and this is an operating region for me. Okay, so here the profile is shown here. So if I increase the collector area, what is in non-operating region, what is the storage temperature profile? Storage temperature goes beyond 100 degrees Celsius, and here all the profiles lie below 100 degrees Celsius. So this is the operating region and this is a non-operating region, and the line is the limiting condition. This locus is the 100 degrees Celsius locus of the storage temperature. This indicates the storage temperature 100 degrees Celsius. So this is a limiting line which presents a limit to my design. Now, so if I combine this profile and this design space, right, design limits, if I go, these are all design limits, is it not? This line falls on a design limit. So this is a limiting design line. So if I superimpose this limiting design line with the limiting line, I get the design space here. Okay, so this is called the design space approach. Now design space is a region depicted on collector area versus storage volume diagram. So design space is a region depicted on collector area storage volume diagram that represents all possible system sizes corresponding to desired output. So all the possible system sizes which gives the desired output. So what does this line indicate? This line indicates solar fraction to be constant. Okay, so this line is obtained at a constant solar fraction. Let us say, for example, hypothetical situation of f equal to 1. So for f equal to 1, you get all the points on this line. For all the points on this line, f is equal to 1, solar fraction is equal to 1. Similarly, if you set the solar fraction value to be 0.8, then you will get another line. Okay, so here we will discuss something called Pareto optimality. Okay, now Pareto optimality is named after Italian economist Wilfred Pareto. Is a measure of efficiency in multi-criteria situations. Multi-criteria problems are those in which there are two or more criteria or variables measured in different units, like apples and oranges. How do you compare which in apples and oranges? What is the optimum of apple and orange? Which apples among apples and oranges which is good? So there must be a common attribute among apples and oranges that is brought to a common arbitrary value, and then that is to be compared. We cannot compare apples and oranges. So no agreed upon conversion factor exists to convert all criteria into single metric. So a solution is not Pareto optimal if one criterion can be improved without degrading others. I will explain this with an example, with the help of a characteristic. So this type of characteristic indicates Pareto optimality. Okay, now this is on x-axis costs, which we always want to minimize. Okay, and then on y-axis environmental impacts. Okay, so on a certain process with a certain equipment or with a certain chemical process, the cost must be minimum and environmental impact also must be minimum. So our aim is to minimize cost as well as minimize environmental impact. So, but the nature of the process indicates this. So the process lies along this curve. So minimum, if we go for a minimum cost, the solution lies this. If we go for a minimum in environmental impact, the solution lies this. The solution lies beyond beyond that process. So the unattainable solution corresponding to optimal of both objectives. So both objectives are obtained beyond this is the unattainable solution because the physical process is lying across these characteristics. Okay, so the optimum must lie across these characteristics. Okay, now now what is which are the dominated solutions? Dominated solutions are like this. So the solution is to combine this, to combine those. Now you can see here collector area and storage volume. Okay, in our design space figure here, this is a Pareto optimality. Okay, that's why there was a discussion about of Pareto optimality. So this region is Pareto optimal region. Why? Because at a certain constant solar fraction, we get a constant solar fraction figure curve like this. Okay, which indicates A is the minimum storage volume design and M is the minimum collector area design. Minimum collector area design, can we adopt? No. Minimum storage volume design, can we adopt? No, because this is not feasible. This will not give you any solar fraction. This is not a feasible solution. Okay, so we have to obtain a solution which on a basis of some attribute which combines both collector area and storage. Okay, so the entire design space can be obtained like this. I will demonstrate how this figure is obtained, setting up a solar fraction and all. I will escape this here and go to Excel sheet. This Excel sheet shows the modeling of the solar thermal system which is mentioned in the presentation. Now here it is all these details are entered into this figure 5th of January. So this sheet, Excel sheet, indicates the solar the calculation from January to June, and then in second it is July to December. So the entire year the system is modeled. Okay, as we have seen earlier, the parameters selected are FR tau alpha 0.675 and FRUL 0.565. Okay, now this shaded region indicates the variables which I can vary. Okay, with design space approach, when I say set the annual solar fraction at 0.8, so now I will show you here the demonstration. Now the collector area is 55 and storage volume is 3.12 meter cube. Collector area is 55 meter square and storage volume is 3.12 meter cube. Corresponding to this system, the annual fraction is 0.8009. Fine. Now all these parameters are here mentioned: 4500 liters per day at 60 degrees Celsius, and maximum limit is 100 degrees Celsius of water, which should not be exceeded. And all those equations are entered. Now I will change the storage volume. Okay. Now I am setting this to 0.9. I will write here 0.9. Okay. And then I will just change this to be 0.8. Okay. Now I go on increasing the collector area. Say I will increase the collector area to 60. What will happen to annual fraction? Annual fraction is again it is not changing. Then I make it 70. Yeah. When I make collector area 70, the annual fraction is 0.9. But does this collector area have minimum? No, I have to ensure that which is the minimum collector area. So I go on decreasing the collector area 69. Does it show 90? Yeah. Then 68.9, 67.9, 66.9, 65, 0.9, 64.8. So 65 is the minimum collected area, which gives me annual solar fraction 0.9. Correspondingly, I can again go on playing with the storage volume. Okay, so like this the entire model will operate. So similarly, I get the entire design space. So I get all these figures corresponding to constant solar fraction as I demonstrated here. So this curve indicates solar fraction equal to 0.1. This curve indicates solar fraction 0.9, 0.8, 0.7. So all these multiple curves I obtained, and along with each curve, minimum collector area design and minimum storage volume design I obtained. Pareto optimal region is obtained in each solar fraction. Okay, so now I equate this to total cost of the system. Okay, so there must be some cost of the system corresponding to minimum storage volume design. There must be some cost corresponding to minimum collector area design. So cost can be calculated, and along Pareto optimality I get the minimum cost. Okay, so like this, I compare all the minimum costs of the entire system, and then so the capital cost of the storage tank is expressed in terms of storage volume, and then I compare the cost of all the systems here. So you can see here the economic optimum. So the economic optimum is obtained here at P. P is a 55 meter square of collected area and 3.1 meter cube of storage volume will give me the minimum cost of the system that will give you the optimum performance of the solar system. Q is the conventional design. If you ask for a conventional design, the conventional design will give you 72 meter square of collector area and 4,500 liters of storage volume. As against the design space gives you 55 meter square of collector area and 3,100 liters of storage volume. Okay, so it is shown here. On x-axis, annual solar fraction is given. So annual solar fraction starts from 0.3, 0.4, because below 0.3 the values are insignificant, and 1 is the limiting case of the solar fraction. Let us see which curves are shown here. At solar fraction 0.3, the cost, this indicates the cost of the solar system. Okay, at solar fraction 0.3 means the 70%, remaining 70% is contributed by annual auxiliary system. So solar contribution, solar capital cost of the solar system will be less. But as you go on increasing the solar fraction, solar contribution goes on increasing, and at 1, solar fraction 1, the entire contribution of energy is with solar system. In that case, the cost of the solar system will be highest. As against, if you go for a LPG gas heater as an auxiliary system, when solar fraction is 0.3, means 70% of the contribution is by auxiliary, so the capital cost of auxiliary will be higher. And then as solar contribution goes on increasing, the cost of auxiliary will go on decreasing, and at solar fraction 1, the auxiliary cost will be 0. Okay, so if we combine both the cost, if you sum up both the cost, you will get the curve, will result into the curve like this. So initially what happens, the cost goes on reducing as the solar contribution goes on reducing. It hits a minimum here. This is optimum. It hits the minimum at 0.8 solar fraction, and then again goes on increasing to the highest. Why? Because here the capital cost of solar energy goes on increasing, so the total cost of the system goes on increasing. Okay, that's why this is the optimum figure. Now the minimum cost corresponds to 83,000 rupees. So at 83,000 annual cost of the system, you will get solar fraction 0.8, collector area 55 meters square, and storage volume of 3.12 liter. So this is the economic optimum design. So that's how the system is designed and optimized. So like this, the solar thermal systems can be designed and optimized for a purposes. In a nutshell, in summary, we can just list the steps in the procedure. The optimization procedure in design space approach. This is a stochastic and enumerative. Okay, so this is a search technique, we can say, in Excel. So identify the design space. Step number 1, identify the design space. Then step number 2, locate Pareto optimality curves. So locate minimum collector area and minimum storage volume designs on each constant solar fraction curve. Okay. Then identify a substantial number of designs between minimum collector area and minimum storage volume designs on each the Pareto optimality curve for calculation of total annualized cost. Okay. And then calculate total annualized cost for each design for each solar fraction and locate the design having minimum cost. These designs will be the local optima. Search minimum cost design among the local optima. Okay, so this is the design space approach. I have tried to present this design space approach with the easiest way possible for me. Those who are interested further, they can mail me, and then we can have a discussion on design space approach. I'll be happy to help them in training them for designing the solar system using design space approach. So this is the design space approach, and then in the next presentation we will discuss about application of design space approach for solar water heating system with pressurized storage, which is used for industrial systems. So thank you.